Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Napoleon Total War 3 with this, the Ottoman campaign. Last time around we made an attempt on Lauenburg, we're going to continue that. And then we also routed the last of the enemy army that was situated in the factory up here. Since then I've done a few turns and a few things have happened, most notably around here. I've been able to gather my forces around, and so we will have a final fight against the Austrians. I was able to move in here, and this army will not actually be able to support the town, so we'll be able to cancel these guys out. I'm hoping Napoleon is okay with this, because otherwise I'm screwed. In the north, since we were able to take out the army over here, means that there's no more Russians anywhere. I think, I'm not entirely sure if there was a small army here, but I think I also said that I was going to take care of that off camera, just to kind of speed things along. And so with no Russian forces here, I've been able to send Husid Ahmed and his army up here to lay siege to Kiev. After the first turn of the siege, they actually sallied forth, but I decided I'd just out-resolve it. And the army, or the rebels, retreated back into the town, so just one out-resolve away from capturing this. And I think we'll start the episode with that. We'll just out-resolve this. We lost 250 men. There was only 800 men left in the second fight. No point in looting it this time around, because we only get 3,000. We've already looted, I guess, most of the property value of this town. Happiness is okay. All I need to do is kind of repair the place. What I'm thinking is we're gonna change out some of the building, like Great Arsenal. I'm gonna tear that down, just because we cannot actually train troops in this region, because that's part of the mod that you can only recruit from your own regions, or regions that you were known historically to recruit from. So the French have the widest range of non-actual ethnic French regions which they can recruit from. Then I'm not entirely sure which one is next, maybe Britain. But the Ottomans definitely don't have. I mean, we don't even have... I don't think... Yeah, it ends kind of Croatia up there. So we don't have a lot of regions to recruit from. And there's no point then to have this just to leave a great arsenal for the Russians to take once they if they recapture this. So instead what we're gonna build is we're going to build that's the wrong place. What we're going to build is we're gonna build a theater instead. Theater will give town wealth and happiness. So that's great, since we looted this place and it's been burning ever since. I imagine that quite a bit of wealth has been lost in this region. It's now 86 minus per turn. And it's probably been like that for quite a while, since the rebels weren't able to scramble enough to actually rebuild any of these institutions. And not even, I mean, a lot of these, there was one. The farm is okay, so the rebels weren't starving, but they burnt the factory at Poltava. Dangerous place, that Poltava. With that, all of that said, I think we're about ready to go ahead and fight this battle. And oh yes, there's one more thing. Now, because I record these in advance, the person who said this might have forgot about it, but someone pointed out or noticed in one of the early videos that the price of furs is now higher than the price of spice. So there's a 4 4 coin difference, or 4 gold difference, or whatever the currency is, in between these. So we're actually going to take 1 ship from this stack, and we're going to send it. We're going to send it to one of the fur ports, and we're going to get fur from there. So I'm not going to send any more, because the thing is, as I remove one from the spice trade, the spice price actually goes up by 1 point. So that means the difference is only 3 gold. And then once we actually start dealing in fur, then I imagine the fur price is going to drop by 1 point. So it's going to go down to 36, 34. So I don't think there's any point in actually sending more. I guess we could send 1 extra, and then it would turn it to 35, 35. But I just want to make sure it's unnecessary to send away a ship like that and potentially lose a bunch of cash in vain. Anyways, with all of that said, it's now time to take out the Austrians, the Battle of Lauenburg. And that will technically end the campaign, because I will fulfill the... or do I need this region as well? It is part of it. Oh, no! It is not part of the victory conditions, it's just that I also hold that. I was wondering, what region is this? So when I take that, I will technically win the campaign by the goals set by the campaign. But I have the additional goal, which I added on, which is to take Rome. And hopefully we'll be able to do that before France realizes, you know what, we could just run over this little shitty kebab strudel and smash them to pieces. Especially now when their armies are about seemingly scouting my area. We have 3 French full stacks, and I imagine they probably have a few coming this way as well. Hopefully they will all focus on Russia, so I don't have to. And now, with all of that said, it's time to go into battle. So we've got, what, 6,300 against the Austrians, 4,700. Most of the Austrian troops is either Hungarian militia or local partisans. Then they also have quite a few reserve units, and there's actually a very few amount of actual troops. They're led by a unit of Hungarian hussars, and then there's a lot of Hungarians here. Most of the armies of what's left of the Austro-Hungarian forces is just the Hungarians, which is obvious because the Hungarian province is just next to this. It's kind of obvious that these guys would be the last one there. But let's see if we cannot defeat these. It doesn't look as though it's going to be a too difficult battle, as I have superiority in most everything, including numbers, cannons, cavalry, and with the grenadiers, then I certainly have the advantage. So let's end this siege and let's end the Austro-Hungarian once and for all. We start off with the starting lines pretty close to each other, so it could be that the Austrians, also with the general place there, it could be that the Austrians are planning to rush us. In which case, probably not a good strategy for them, since I start off with a lot of cavalry, 600 of which, compared to the enemy's 144. And yeah, this is, you can kind of see my line with all the lower troops, lower rank troops, the cheaper bastard troops up front. We've got the cannons in the back, we've got the 2 janissaries back here, general, and yes, let's go ahead and start. And we'll start by taking the bastard troops. Start advancing them. I want to discover where the enemy is, and my artillery will start blasting my own troops. I was worried that was going to happen. but also hopefully hitting the enemy general unit. Doesn't matter that much that we shoot some of our own bastards if we also hit the enemy. And then we have Muhammad Ali coming in with his troops. The enemy cavalry unit is retreating. Well, let's move Muhammad Ali here rather quickly. I wonder why they're not giving full-fledged fire with all the cannons. There we go, that's what I want to see. Right, we've spotted another one. Hungarian line infantry. And we have one of the reserve units. What we're gonna do now, so I'm actually gonna rearrange the line. We're gonna get all this cavalry to march out like so. And you can kind of see how I'm lining up the anvil and the hammer. If they manage to go through the anvil, then they'll run straight onto canister and the 2 units of janissaries. Not that the janissaries are a lot to that they're any good units. Then we've got the Mamluks and the Lancers coming up. So we've got two massive cavalry units coming up on this side as well. So we have a concentration of some of the troops over here. I want to see where they've put their grenadiers, because that's the only strong infantry unit they have. They have some reserve units with a lot of chevrons as well, but I'm looking for the grenadiers. The grenadiers are the ones to look for. I'm a little bit worried about this one, that this one's marching towards the cavalry rather than marching towards the crap infantry. What we're gonna do is we're gonna switch them a little bit, so we open up so we can have cavalry coming through there. And then the Tartars, I don't know where we placed them. Place them over there. Yeah, it kind of looks like this guy's going for the cavalry. We have Grenzer Company up there. The infantry are within range now to open up fire. Ooh, we didn't do a lot of damage to the Grenzer Company. That could be bad. At least we locked some of these units in place. These guys have formed square over here. Damn. This unit's getting torn up by the Grenzers.
Our general is under attack.
How would that happen? A stray bullet all the way from over here? It didn't lose any of its bodyguard though, did he? And just as I move back to take a look at him, he loses one of his guys, one of his bodyguards to a stray bullet. This entire line is not doing too well, is it? I guess we can do we'll do kind of a feint retreat, which could turn into a rout if we're not careful. Luckily for me, the Austrians humor us by stop firing. These guys are coming way too close to my cavalry. Thing is, I could have thrown them in, but it's light cavalry, and the enemy is lined up. If they stop and start firing, I could do a lot of damage, and I'm not entirely sure we would be able to break through these guys because we basically made no damage to them. This one should definitely switch to canister at this point. They've put a lot more focus over on this side, and you can see how this one's side is weaker. It's only local partisans. And then there's partisans back there. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the Mamluks attack there in U. Going to charge ahead all the way to the back. And then maybe we can have the cavalry coming from two sides. If the enemy comes closer, then canister is on the table to smash them. What's that? Some extra units, Grensers and such. The Lancers will charge. I just realized I sent... or I mistook what unit I was sending where. And... oh, there's another group of enemy infantry that we'd completely kind of miss. As they're in a disarray, I'm going to charge them over there. Right, those guys were sent off. We're going to continue through. They're sending the general over here. Can I get canister flying this way? Cavalry is starting to wrap up units over here, since there's a lot of just reservists and stuff. So we already sent 3 away. Can we get canister right here? Right into this. And then we're going to take 2 to attack the enemy hussars, 2 to move over there. As the canister blasts into the partisans, we're gonna have the cavalry come in after and attack them. We're gonna tell these guys to hold fire, as I don't want to shoot my own men. Oh, the Austrian reached the main line and broke a unit, but they were broken at the same time. Okay, with all of that, you're gonna fire now into the flank over here. The cavalry is gonna continue, and now we're gonna... perfect cavalry encirclement. The cavalry is gonna come from all sides and sweep in on the Austrians, which are now just flung all over the place. There's a few units that hold out. It's a reserve unit in the middle. But now that one breaks as well, and now all of them break. And we're gonna continue through and get rid of all of them. The grenadiers and militia garrisons and a few other units are turning up. With that development, I'm gonna have these guys... actually, we're gonna make the units rather thick. We're gonna move them back like that. Switch to canister, fire at will, hold your fire, switch to round shot. The hussars. We have yet to defeat the hussars. Let's see, most of these units are destroyed. Not gonna come back. So I want all the cavalry now to come down, and we'll deal a decisive blow to the enemy over here. Because right now their hussars, their Hungarian hussars, are actually winning over 2 of my units. Even though we technically outnumber them. Round shot, fired well. Here comes the cavalry. Just in time, as these troops are beginning to become tired. And have lost very many men. But with the extra amount of troops now coming against the brave Hungarian hussars, this one was the unit that came into contact melee. Artillery. And then Ali will actually go ahead and inspire that unit for extra damage. Right, the enemy cavalry is getting absolutely swarmed and killed off. I want my cavalry to line up. Let's see, where is the grenadiers have been targeted by the canister or are all about to break. Our line infantry, I mean, they basically just there to hold the line, more or less. Not really doing a lot of damage on the enemy. It's gonna be down to the cavalry to once more come in and sweep away everyone. Some of my units are tired. Kinda wanna see if we can break. Right, this guy definitely deserves to get charged down at this point. We're gonna hold fire at this point. At some point there we'll tell the Janissaries to hold their fire. As the cavalry closes in. Hold fire. The grenadiers are falling back. The Grensers are falling back. Oh, they managed to form square over there. Why did you stop the charge? Continue the charge. Right, they managed to get that one over there. Continue around and stop the retreat of those enemy units. Hold your fire. And then all the line infantry units will hold their fire as well. And it will be down to the cavalry to chase these guys down. And then instead I want the canister to now focus in on that square. And then these two can start firing again. I guess the canister doesn't reach. So we'll fire round shot at this square instead. Perfect targets to fire at. Bit surprised that we only got one hit on them though, more or less. And the other one just kind of took the hats off a few of them. Hit right in front. That one went through. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Habsburg Empire has been brought to its knees and is now destroyed. Victory lies at the hand at the Ottoman court, and has nothing to do with, of course, that with that guy Napoleon. Yeah, it's all our doing. The reimagining of the Ottoman Empire. And yeah, with that said, let's go back to the campaign map and take a look at what we have accomplished. And here it is. So, we deployed 6,300 men, as I said, and that. We lost 700 men, the enemy lost everything. However, the important thing is the kill number, I think. Because obviously they will lose everything because it's in town. I think it's interesting that the enemy managed to kill 666, which seems an awfully specific number of our troops that they managed to kill. It's a sign of something. But let's not go into much into that. We killed 4,300 in the actual battle. The Mamluk were the ones that killed the most, and the Lancers next. And then we have two of the Delhis. And then the cannon managed to kill 300. And then cavalry. This must be a infantry unit, actually. Alley. Oh yeah, alley means regiment, I think. But just by the numbers that they've deployed, it's a infantry unit. A lot of chevrons gained. This was actually counted as a decisive victory.
Sultan of Sultans, your rule is now unchallenged. From sunrise to sunset, no man lives except to serve. Fools tried their republics and their parliaments. Little good it did them. Gunpowder and the sword were always more persuasive than a witty tongue. For what else is victory? What is glory without the tears of the defeated?
Boom! There we have it. We got the victory. I can liberate it. Cool. But that probably would just cause strife with France. Because France would declare war on my ally. The Austrians are dead. I like how they took the... It must have been the victory from Empire. Right? Kinda looked like it. I definitely saw those light infantry units that was there. They were definitely from Empire. Right, hopefully when I end turn, it doesn't actually have France declare war on me. But with that said, I think we're gonna end the video here. So what we're gonna do for the next one, or where I'm gonna start preparing for the next one, is... Of course we're gonna see about stabilizing the front here in case the enemy moves forward, or not the Austrians, the Russians move south, decide to move south against us. If France attacks, I don't know what we're gonna do. I guess it's gonna be a slow retreat until we have one final battle in Istanbul. But otherwise, and hopefully, I'll be able to prepare my armies for a naval invasion of Italy. Starting with Sicily, going on to Naples, and then finally Rome. And once Rome is taken, then is when I will actually declare myself the Sultan of Sultans. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I say as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!